Good afternoon again, everybody. Welcome again to our Open Office Hour series on professional services automation. Today is our third and final session on PSA. The first one was a general overview of PSA and of functionality between SRP and Open Air. Last week's was about SRP, and today we're going to concentrate on Open Air. With that said, I want to thank you for your participation, and I will pass it over to Brett Rogers and Pam Kite from NetSuite, who will be giving out the presentation and demonstration for today's topic.
Thank you, Alejandro. So very quickly, first of all, thank you all for attending. And I look forward to going through this and providing you with some information about Open Air specifically. So very quickly, we're going to talk about the PSA team here at Crowe and NetSuite. Then we'll go through, tell you a little quick blurb on PSA in general, and then get into specifics about Open Air. So everyone is aware of Alejandro. He is the senior manager at Crowe, worked very closely with the NetSuite team. My name is Brett Rogers. I am a PSA sales exec that works very closely with the Crowe partnership. And then we have Pam Kite, who I would say is one of the most important people on this, other than those of you who are out there listening. She is our principal sales consultant, and she'll be driving the demo. And then we have Sherry Rossi, who is the PSA channel senior sales director. So a little bit about PSA in general. We've talked about this on all of the previous webinars that we've had in this series. So what are really the reasons why customers and prospects look at a PSA solution? It's really about increasing their project margins, their profitability, increasing billable utilization, all of those types of things. And as you can see here with the SPI research that has been conducted over the years, organizations that use a PSA solution, services organizations that use that PSA solution, they increase their project margins on average about 24%. That's a big increase when you're talking about money that's kind of going straight to the bottom line. And then they increase their billable employees by 2%, and even on top of that, the billable utilization is increased by 7%. So all of these things, again, it drives money straight to the bottom line and increases the profitability of companies. On the right-hand side, you can see here an example of an organization that they talk to, and you can see the types of savings and the type of profitability that they drove. So a little bit about Open Air specifically. What is Open Air? It is a standalone or integrated best-of-breed PSA solution. It was built specifically for services organizations. And they had all types of services organizations in mind when they built this and have extended it through the years. And when I say it is a best-of-breed, standalone, or integrated solution, as you can see here, we are kind of that middle piece. So you can have any CRM that's out there that can be connected with the PSA, with Open Air. That's bi-directional. The data can be pushed and pulled from the CRM solution. And then the same way with the financials. Data can be pushed and pulled from the PSA solution of Open Air into those other financials type solutions. So it's a very mature product. It's kind of tried and true, been through the paces, was developed in the 90s and has just been improved and built on over the years. It's got robust reporting, it's out-of-the-box reporting, and those reports can be modified or enhanced to even fit organizations' needs even further. It's also got pre-built integrations. So it's got apps, it's got configuration capabilities, it's got pre-built connectors, and then it also has an API that can pretty much connect to anything on the market. We've got over 200 plus customers that use it integrated with different solutions around the world. So what are the real differentiators when you talk about Open Air? How do we stand out against the competition? The first thing that we typically see is we are one of the only, if not the only solution on the market that has the type of scalability. We have customers that have as few as 10 users, and we have customers with over 10,000 users. So again, it's been there in the marketplace for a long time and has really developed a user base that is scalable. I talked about this before. We've got apps, we've got connectors. The extensibility is just second to none. So those integrations that we talked about before, if we don't have them already pre-built, again, the API allows you to have connections with outside solutions. Then on top of that, second to none as far as configuration. You can configure the system. You don't have to write code. It is a solution that can be tailored to the needs of our customers. That's something that we take pride in. We talked about real-time reporting and robust reporting. Project management and resource management, which is the primary needs of a PSA solution. Again, we developed it for services organizations, and it has only been enhanced throughout the years. So now we're going to turn this over to Pam, which is really what this session is all about. She's going to go through a demonstration and talk about the solution specifically.
All right, thanks, Brett. Yeah, so today what I plan on covering again is the power of PSA. What I plan on doing is really kind of taking you guys through a journey of end-to-end projects. And so one of the things that we'll do is we'll definitely highlight some things around project management. So if we kind of look through this business process flow, I'll go through the project management functionality. We've done a really good job of having very robust project management capabilities. The resource management is another area that we're extremely strong in. So when you think about, finding the right resource with the right skills for the right project, we'll go through the resource management capability. So I'll show you how to go about staffing your projects. We'll spend a little bit of time going into the time and expense entry. One of the things that we provide with our solution is a very easy to use capability where you can enter time and expenses. Of course, those can go through an approval process. And then along with that, a lot of our customers, the reason why they choose Open Air is because of that, strong project management functionality, the resource management, and then the project accounting side. Again, our project accounting side is extremely strong where you can define billing rules against your project, you can define revenue recognition rules, and then of course you can schedule those billing rules and revenue recognition rules to where it automatically generates charges and ultimately invoices your customer. So we'll go through the project accounting side, and then we'll wrap up with some of the analytics. This is another area where within Open Air we're extremely strong, and I'll definitely highlight, some of the key things from an analytics standpoint. And within Open Air, we do provide pre-built dashboards that you get day one. So again, looking at your, financials, looking at your projects, looking at, staffing. So a lot of times when we think about metrics, some of the key metrics when we think about PSA is being able to look at utilization. So, here we can look at our forecasted utilization over a monthly basis, over a weekly basis, and all of these reports and dashboards that come with Open Air all have drillable reports. So if we wanted to get down to a more detailed level and look at our forecasted utilization, notice here that we can look at things where we can see at a very high level, what is my utilization across the company? So here we can see the month of July, we're currently at 79%. We want to drill further and kind of look at the different regions of our company. So here we can look at Asia Pac, we can look at North America, we can see that our utilization is pretty high in EMEA. If we want to drill down into specific regions, of course we can do that. If we want to look at US, we can see all of our various resources. So here, this is really giving me good visibility into my resource, my forecasted resources, the utilization. Notice over here that I can look at Mary, and I can see during the month of September and October that she is forecasted from a utilization standpoint quite high. It looks like she's actually forecasted to be overutilized. So here I can identify the various projects. I can see that I've got a PSA module deployment and an ERP deployment project. So I may want to kind of rethink as far as allocating resources and forecasting, out Mary, and maybe reassign her to some other specific, or reassign other folks to this project, because I can clearly see that she is definitely overbooked on this ERP deployment project. Some other key things that I like to highlight as far as functionality goes is, and it's something that our customers really like the functionality, is where you can create what are called portfolios, and you basically can have a portfolio of projects. Now, I've seen some companies kind of align their business. So over here on the left-hand side, say for example, you've got a software company that you're working with. And with the software company in their organization, when you think about the different products and services that they sell, one of the things that you can do is kind of align your portfolio of products or services. And here we can see that we've got data migration, mobility, digital intelligence, enterprise integration. And so these are all different. Again, it's a portfolio of different types of things that we offer to our customers. So within Open Air, you can definitely align your company's portfolio with those given projects. So here we can see that we've got a given project with a company called Global Information. And on that project, it's basically a milestone proof of concept project. Here, I can look at the project and I can get an overall sense of, or a pulse on, how this particular project is doing. Well, I can clearly see as an overall project status, I can see that it needs attention. I need to review my task. And then from a budget standpoint, we can identify, are we on track? Does it need attention? Well, in this particular case, we can see that it's on track. But from a scheduling standpoint, we can see that the project is currently at risk. And we can see that some of the tasks are actually taking longer. So when we think about the portfolio and your projects, this really can give you a sense of, what projects are on track, what needs attention. We can look at the overall project, we can look at the budget, we can look at the schedule. Clearly this project right here, my hardware implementation project, I can clearly see that, gosh, it's definitely at risk. I've got a client at risk, I'm currently over budget, and I've got delays due to resource constraints. So I definitely, as my project manager, I would definitely want for him or her to take a look at this project and figure out, why are we at risk? Why are we over budget? And why do we have these resource constraints? So again, giving you extremely clear visibility into your projects. Let me go into a particular project, and we'll talk a little bit about the project management capabilities. So that was kind of the project dashboards. We'll get in a little bit later when we get towards the end of the session. I'll definitely cover the reporting aspects. But again, just keep in mind that these dashboards do come with Open Air. They are pre-built that you do get day one. Now, Brett had mentioned earlier configuration. So one of the nice things within Open Air is you definitely can configure things. You can add custom fields. You'll notice right here I've got an AFE number. AFE is authorization for expenditure. Again, you can add custom fields within Open Air very, very easily and do reporting against them. One of the other key things is you can also create, again, on the projects, you can have different phases. Let me go back to my projects that are in progress real quick. And I'll highlight a couple of things here before we kind of drill down into a specific project. One of the things that I'll point out here is the different sales stages. So you may have projects that maybe you're in a pre-sales stage that you need to be able to track different activities that you have going on with your projects. You may have projects that are in a proposed state. So you're not, you have not yet won that, but it's a proposal that you have. And then you have in progress, any projects that are on hold, any canceled or closed projects. And then of course you have the capability to track any type of internal types of projects. You may have, research and development types of projects, any type of general administrative type projects or capital projects that you need to be able to track. Again, these can be internal projects. And then of course we do have the template capability as well. Now, let me drill down into a particular project that I've already created, and I'll focus on some of the project management capabilities that you get with Open Air. So of course we can look at the project. We can see that this is a year-long project that we have. We're only at 4% complete. We can see how many hours that we have planned out. And then of course we can look at all of the various phases. So on here, you can have a phase, you can have things broken down into detailed tasks, and the structure can go down as deep as you need to. So if you did have multiple levels of tasks, you can break that down very detailed, or if you need to be able to keep that at a high level, you do have that flexibility within Open Air. Of course, we do have the Gantt chart capability to be able to track and be able to see from a Gantt chart standpoint. Another area is being able to track issues. I remember back in my day when I used to work with project managers, and I worked in finance, and I was responsible for doing all of the project accounting type work and kind of managing all of our projects and working with project managers on a day-to-day basis. So one of the things that we wanted to be able to do, within our projects is be able to identify, do we have any issues that are going on with the projects? So are there any type of risk that may be occurring? Do we have any assumptions that need to be made? And so, here we can see that we can identify any type of issues. So here we can see that we've got potential delays that could happen. We can identify it as an issue. It can be assigned to a particular individual. It can also be escalated. So here we can see, what is the implication, with this particular issue. So here we're seeing that we may not make the deadlines appropriate, with this given project. So again, the issue management capability, you do have that within the project management capability, as well as status reports. So being able to look at, various statuses. I know we used to have weekly meetings where we would go through status reports to look at things like this to see, do we have any issues? Do we have any delays going on with our project? So every project within Open Air has a dashboard. And of course, this is completely configurable. This is an example of a message board. Again, you can pretty much put any type of information, here on the message board. You also have the capability, all of these are reports that you can run, and these are all specific to this particular project, my FRS project workstream project. So if we did want to look at, again, what our budget looks like, what are my billable project expenses, what are my open issues, of course we've got reports that sit here that you can run against this given project. Now we also have a workspace. And what's nice about the workspace is, again, we have a message board, but we also have a place where we can store all of our documentation. So on this documentation, all of this again is configurable, so you can create different folders. What you're seeing here is I've got my agreements, I have my statement of work. You could have other project documentation, drawings, deliverables, contracts. And notice here that all of these different documents, you can have version control. So being able to see, what am I on version 1, version 2, and you can track all of that. The other area is a discussion board. So think about, as you're working projects, you need to be able to collaborate with your project team. So with this gives you a really nice place where we can have different discussion boards. So here I can see that Mark and Abby, have different messages going back. Mark has a message going to Abby about a budget. And then Abby has a question to Beth back to the client kickoff meeting. So on here, we can see the budget question. And on here, Mark has basically posed a question to Abby asking, when do you think the budget will be completed? So when Abby logs into Open Air, she will see this message. And so of course she can reply back to that message. And again, that will automatically be updated here into the workspace. So again, this gives me a place to be able to track, all of the various messages. Of course, we can see the different statuses if they're, open or closed, all right here on this page. So again, nice place to be able to collaborate with your project team members. Now, if we come over into the member section, you'll notice over here, here are all of my available resources. And if I kind of scroll down the list, you'll notice also we can have teams. So I've worked with quite a few customers where they may have on a project, they may have a team working on particular task on a given project. We have this same concept in the workspace where you can assign team members. And so of course you can have them where they can be read-only, they can have read-only access, they can have read-write, and then of course you can have the team set up to where, again, that can be read-write, it can be read-only, you can also set up administrator rights. So again, this would really be where you can assign your different team members for the workspace. Of course, you can have alerts. So if there are things that get added, so any type of folder or document or discussion that's been added, if you're on that member page, that team member, of course, you would get a notification stating that a new folder's been added, a new discussion's been added. And then we also have the link capability where you can see the different links. These can be external links, they can be internal links as well. We also have a news feed. So of course, being able to have different statuses on the project. So here we can see that the project's on track and the customer's happy. We need to do a budget review. That needs to happen. So of course that needs attention. So again, you can have a whole listing of different news feeds identifying kind of this, what's going on with the project. And then of course, here we have a project status report. On the status report, this will give me, again, a status of what's going on. We can see that this project is in my portfolio of data migration. Here's my customer, my contact information, my planned hours, as well as who my project manager is. And then of course, we've got project links that can take me directly into If I need to go and assign a resource, I can go directly into my booking planner. If I need to look at financial analysis, I can simply come in here. If there are notes that you want to add, of course, this section allows you to add notes on the project. Now, keep in mind, this information can be shared with your customer. So again, you determine what information that you want to share. Of course, the financial information, that would be something that you most likely would not share with your customer. So when we click on the View as Client, notice that that information goes away. But again, this is completely configurable on the project status. So that, from a project management standpoint, again, that kind of goes into at a high level, just some of the things that you can do within Open Air from a project management standpoint. A couple of other things too. Brett had referenced the SPI study that had been done. And, you know, with that study, what a lot of companies, if you're using a tool like Open Air, what companies have found is there's been like a 14% increase in better project management because of, you know, just having a complete project management solution. So it really enables project managers to better manage their projects. So again, giving them the necessary tools to manage their projects. Now, let me go into the resource management piece. And this, again, is another area where we're extremely strong. When you think about resource management, this is really where you want to be able to look at, you know, what resources are available, what, you know, resources have certain profiles or skills. And we also want to be able to look at utilization. So when we look at this planner, this is what I like to refer to as my planner view. This really shows me, and we can look at over time. So again, we can look at this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And we can see all of our resources here on the left-hand side. We also have different views where we can look at this by a customer. But on here, we can clearly see, you know, like Bill, for example, I can see that he is definitely overbooked. And if I want to look at, you know, what is Bill working on? Why is he overbooked? We can see all of the various projects that he's currently working on. So we may want to rethink, you know, different projects. We do have the capability here where you can drag and drop. You've got the bulk action capability where if you need to go in here and move things around, where you need to change resources up here, you can change resources very easily, move out the dates, and so forth. So that view right here really just gives me the capability to look at my capacity, look at my resources that are sitting on the bench. I can see right here, Mark definitely has some availability. So, you know, I might think about Mark, you know, as I'm looking to put a project manager on my project, I notice that Mark has availability. Now, one question I get a lot of times is, gosh, we've got 20 resources in our company, and I know all of my people extremely well. I know their capabilities, I know their skills. You know, how can I quickly and easily, you know, get them set up on my project? I've created my project, I've used a template, now I just need to go about staffing my project. So now I can come in here and say, for example, Mark. I can see Mark Collins as my resource. I want to put him on my FRS project workstream project. I know that next week my project's going to start, and really right now I just want for him to work on next week, and I want to go ahead and allocate, say, 40 hours. I come in here, allocate him, confirm him, and I know that I've got Abby also that I need to put onto a project. I come over here. If she was working on the same project, I could put her on that, but I've got another project that I'm currently trying to get assigned, and I know that that project is not going to start until August, and so I want to go in and put her on the project for the whole month of August, and I want to book her. I want to put 80% of her time to be allocated against that project. So here I can very, very simply kind of come down here and assign my resources just from this one screen. So here, this just makes a really quick way to assign resources to projects and get them onto your given project. So that's one way. Another way is you can leverage this worksheet capability. And on the worksheet, say for example, I want to go in and I want to put, say for the week, I noticed that Mary's working on this ERP deployment project. And as a project manager or resource manager, I need to put 16 hours during that week onto her, go ahead and book her for that. So in this worksheet, I can simply enter the hours in and then go ahead and save and submit and go ahead and allocate her to this given ERP deployment project. That's another way of how you can very, very quickly put hours and book people to projects. On this view that you're seeing here, it's color coded. So, the blue basically means that, hey, we're in alignment, we're in good shape with the project. The red identifies that we're overbooked. The green definitely means that we're, underutilized on this project. So, if I wanted to, say, for example, we'll go look at Mary. And Mary, I can see that, again, the reason why she's over during this week, the 59.2 hours make up these hours here for the web PSA module deployment, and then she has a G&A project that she's working on as well. So again, different views on how you can view your resources, put them to projects. We also have this chart view. And on the chart view, what's nice about the chart view is you can see who's available. You can also look at time off. You can look at holidays. You can look at who's unavailable, during this time period. So again, it just gives you a quick view of being able to see what resources you have available. Now, that's how you can staff people onto projects. Now, let me show you some of the functionality when we think about profiles and skills. Now, this is an area where, again, very strong area, very configurable within Open Air. So I've worked with a lot of clients where when they're staffing projects, they take into account certain criteria. So they may want to be able to look at someone that maybe has a particular technical skill, maybe they know a certain product, maybe you're looking for a particular job role or industry. I've worked with some clients where they want to be able to look for resources that are based upon a geography. So maybe we're looking for resources that are in Canada or in India or in EMEA. We can have, again, a profile filter that could be geography. This is an example of the public skills and private skills. This is another example where you could have soft skills, hard skills. Again, very configurable. So let me show you the use case. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go search for a resource, and notice here all of my technical skills that I have here on the left-hand side. So what I want to do is find someone that has JavaScript skills. And then I also want to be able to find someone that has both ERP and PSA experience. And for my project, I want to be able to find a project manager. Again, this is where you can have all of your different types of roles, within your organization. You may have designers, you may have engineers, trainers, project managers that you need to be able to staff on your project. So here we'll go and find a project manager. And what I want to do is specify my date. So we'll look for someone for next week. And I want to look to see who has 40 hours that are available. So I can simply come in here and search, and I see that I've got 4 resources available to work on my project for next week. Here I can go in and select, and I can do a comparison. So I can compare all 4 of these resources. And what's nice about this, in this view right here, a lot of times, I talk to my customers, and a lot of times my customers are wanting to look at things like hourly rates. So when they're staffing someone on a project, here we've got visibility where we can look at Matt. He's at $300 an hour, but here I've got Judy over here that's $250 an hour. We can also see their location, where they're located. Another nice thing is we can look at utilization and availability. So here I can really get a sense of, the 4 different resources that I have. And I can see that Bill, he's already overbooked right now. So I would pretty much count him out, for my project. Same thing with Judy, over the next week, she only has 22 hours. And I want to see, here, when I start kind of comparing, I can see that Marie and Matt were probably my best candidates, because I was looking for someone that was a project manager. I wanted to be able to see someone that had those skills. So here I can see that Matt and Marie both have primary project management skills, so that's good. I can also look at my ERP and PSA. So Matt has ERP and PSA. Marie has ERP, but she does not have PSA experience. And then we can do a further search onto the JavaScript. So I can see Matt has intermediate and Marie has beginner. So what's nice here is we can really do a comparison of the different resources. Really what it comes down to when I start to do my comparison and look at availability and look at the skills and the profiles, Matt really is the person I think that would be the right person for this project. So again, I can simply come over here, assign Matt to my FRS project, specify my time frames. So here I want to assign him for next week. I want to allocate 40 hours. And of course, I can then directly book him and confirm him on this project. So again, this is giving me, again, better visibility into the right skills with the right person and the right project. So again, that's the resource management functionality. I think some of the key benefits that the resource management capability gives you is it really enables you to standardize your staffing process, for all of your given projects. Okay, so the next area that I wanted to cover was the timesheet capabilities. So what I'm going to show you here is the mobile capability. So let me minimize these windows here. And we'll go in and I'll show you the mobile. Okay, real quickly, let me just highlight within the App Store, whether it be the Google Store or the App Store for iPhone, you do have a Open Air app. Of course, all of your login credentials is the same to access Open Air. The nice thing that we've done with the Open Air mobile app is we've really designed it to be a very easy to use interface. So you'll notice here, I've got my timesheets. So I can see ones that have been rejected. I can see ones that are open. I can see all of my expense reports. But let me just quickly go through a demonstration of the mobile app. On here, I can specify my time frame. On here, I want to go in, let's just enter in our time frame here. Down here, we can select our client project. You can come up here if we want to search. Of course, you can come up to the search bar. You can scroll down. Of course, here I can go in and I can see my FRS project. Down here at the bottom, one other key thing that you can do with the timesheet is if there are like custom fields that you want to add onto the timesheet and make those required, again, you can very much configure the timesheet and add those custom fields. On here, we can go in on the time card. We notice that we're here for Thursday. We can go select our task. And then, of course, this would be where I could then come in and enter my time in right here weekly. I can enter it daily. So if I wanted to come in and enter in my time, I worked 8 hours against this task. Of course, I could go in and submit, other dates here. But again, it's very, very intuitive. We just simply click on the plus sign. And then once we're done with our timesheet, we can either go into save mode or we can simply submit it. Down here at the bottom, we also have timers. You can easily edit using the pencil. The plus is just where you need to be able to add. But here I can easily submit my time card, add additional notes, and now it has been submitted. So again, very, very easy to use. I think the key thing here that I want to mention is, I talk to a lot of companies a lot of times that are doing things very manual in nature, or they may not have an integrated time solution or expense entry solution. So really with having a solution with timesheets and expenses, the benefit really is that you have, more accurate and timely actuals against your projects. And again, very intuitive, easy to use, and it really just increases efficiencies. So that is the time entry. I think just for the sake of time, I don't have time to go into the other functionality, but if you do have questions, definitely let's schedule, another demonstration to go through the mobile. But again, the key message here is just ease of use. All right, so let's go back into my project and let's talk about the project accounting piece, because again, this is another key area that we are extremely strong.
Pam, just sorry to interrupt. There is one question, not that you need to address it now, but if you get a chance, the question is, any chance we get to see what this looks like in NetSuite? So is there any views within NetSuite of the data from Open Air?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
I can definitely show that.
Perfect, thank you.
Definitely cover that. So I'll real quickly hit on the project accounting and the reporting, and then I'll wrap up with the integration into NetSuite. So I think that's also something very, very key. So yeah, thanks for the question. It's great. So another area that I definitely like to highlight, the project budgeting capability, extremely strong. You can budget again at the project level, the phase level, the task level. You can get extremely granular on the budgeting. The billing and the recognition, the revenue recognition. If I was to take a poll from, I would say 90% of our customers, probably 99% of our customers, some of the key things that they talk about is just the strength within the project accounting. We're extremely strong. So on the billing rules, you can define different billing rules on your project. So let me just highlight this one called billing for 50%. I had a bill that I wanted to happen on July the 6th for $260,000. So I'll come back and I'll reference that in just a few minutes. But on the billing rules, a couple of things I want to highlight. I like the different types of billing rules that you can create. So again, time-based billing rules. So think about those time and material types of projects that you may have. Within the time, you can use rate cards. Those rate cards can be customer specific. They can be different rate cards on different projects. You can also create time billing rules where it can be based upon a specific resource. It can also be tied back to what we call our service items. So again, lots of flexibility. You can set up caps, you can set up different filter criteria for your billing rules. You also can create expense-based billing rules and purchasing item billing rules. So if you are purchasing from like a vendor, for example, and you've got materials or you've got services, maybe you're hiring a contractor to work on your project and you need to be able to bill that customer for that contractor that worked on your project, you can create purchasing rules. And then you also can create different types of fixed fee, fixed price. It can be on a date. You can make those recurring, where it could be on a weekly, monthly basis. You can create milestones. You can also create fixed fee based upon percentage of completion. The other thing too that you can do, notice this auto run. And so you can schedule this auto run to where what will happen is on these billing rules, it will automatically pick up those billing rules and create those charges. So notice on here, we have this set to run every day at 4 a.m. This is all configurable. You can have this, scheduled, you can configure it. But the nice thing about this is, back to when I used to do this, I mentioned earlier, I was responsible for doing the project accounting side, and I didn't have a system like this. So I would have to go in and manually, go and do my invoicing. I didn't have a system where I could set rules and it would automatically generate charges based upon those rules. Another powerful benefit of the solution. The other area is the revenue recognition. Just wanted to highlight many different ways on how you can recognize revenue. Let me go back into the invoices real quickly. On the invoice, I had my invoice that I had pointed out earlier that, I generated on the 6th. So here we have, again, our project FRS for the 6th for $260,000. Again, that got generated. Of course, on these invoices, you can email them, attach PDF attachments of the invoices. They can also go through an approval process. So if you do need to approve, have them go through an approval process, you do have that capability. So again, just some of the things that our customers have found, having a solution where you've got the billing rules all in place, is some statistics have been done, and about 90% reduction in invoice inaccuracies with having a solution like Open Air. 90% is a big deal when you think about, inaccurate invoices. I think back to my day, I probably had a ton of invoices that were inaccurate, and I didn't have a system like this where I could, go in and just check and make sure everything looks right on my invoices. I'll wrap up with the reporting piece, and a couple of key things that I want to highlight here is the templates. So within Open Air, we do provide right here, we've got 112 tabular templatized reports, and you'll notice over here it'll talk about, like, this is a account-wide report, and these are all of the columns of information. You can also look at here, like on this account-wide project report, again, this is where it's grouping all of your projects. It has all of the different columns. So again, you can start with these templatized reports and be able to leverage these. Some other key things just to highlight from a reporting standpoint, when we talk about creating reports, I think some of the other key things is the dimensions and measures. With Open Air, we already have these pre-built measures. So all of these calculations where we look at what's our budget less build, all of these calculations, go down the list, there's just a ton of calculations that are already come delivered with Open Air. Some other key things just to highlight is the standard reports. And just wanted to highlight with the standard reports, we do have quite a few standard reports, and they're grouped into folders. So when we think about expenses and invoices and project management, being able to look at my project burn versus project burn down hours, looking at profitability, resources that I highlighted earlier. On these reports, you can definitely export them to Excel, you can email, you can schedule, you can very, very easily modify reports. And what's nice here is if I wanted to look at, how I'm doing as a company, I can see, this is an example of a company-wide report where I can look at, I've got a budget of $19 million in projects with all of my customers listed over here. And overall, I can see that I'm at 71% of profitability across the board. So I can see as a company how I'm doing on my projects. Now, if I wanted to drill down into a particular customer, say I want to look at Ultima and see all of the given projects that I have going on. So here I can clearly get a sense of how I'm doing with all of my projects. So again, the key benefit here is really The reporting and analytics is extremely strong. A lot of the pre-built measures and dimensions automatically come with the reports. It's very simple. We have a very simple reporting tool. So let me go into NetSuite. And the question that you had was around NetSuite and the integration. So we actually have tightly integrated NetSuite with Open Air. And let me just quickly go into my data sets. And on here, you'll notice my Open Air role. So on here, of course, we've got the Open Air modules. Again, we've got the projects, the resources, all of that, again, completely integrated. On here, if I wanted to say, for example, I wanted to look at my workstream project that I just demonstrated, we can see here again the project. We can also see things with the project structure. There are also, notice in here, we can see again the project structure that I demonstrated, the related transactions. So of course, all of the, if you're using like the CRM capability within NetSuite, all of that again gets tracked, here. So we've got, again, our opportunity that we tracked. We can also track any type of, again, opportunities or expense reports or invoices. So again, being able to track the different invoices as well as any of our cost that we have. So here's some expense reports. And then of course the timesheets automatically flow over so that you can run the post-time, capability where that will create those journal entries automatically into NetSuite. So again, we have definitely, made quite a bit of investment in the integration with both Open Air and NetSuite to completely integrate the two solutions. So Alejandro, were there any additional questions that anyone had?
No, there was another question, but it was not related to PSA, so I answered it on the chat. There's no additional questions related to PSA at this point.
Okay, well, let me recap. So again, today we really wanted to take you through an end-to-end process from, project management, again, the whole managing your projects, the resource management, being able to find the right resource for the project, and being able to have the right person, right skills, I think is really, really key. Some other things too on the project management piece, the collaboration. I think that's really key when we think about our project teams and being able to manage collaborating on the project. The portfolio management, again, another area where you can align that with your company and kind of the portfolio of different things that you're selling. And then again, being able to have your time and expenses and being able to have those approved. Again, something easy to use, intuitive. I went through the mobile component, but we also do within the native Open Air functionality, we do have timesheet and expense reporting capabilities. I did want to make you aware of that. The mobile is just something that I wanted to demonstrate mainly because of just the ease of use, and it's very intuitive. The project accounting piece, again, the key components here are the billing rules, the revenue recognition rules, the billing engine, revenue recognition engine, where you can schedule that, it generates the charges. And then again, being able to reduce that invoice inaccuracy to where it automatically generates that invoice for your customer, and ultimately being able to perform the analysis against your projects and being able to ultimately see, were we profitable on this project? So that concludes the demonstration of NetSuite Open Air. Again, if there are, if you do want to take a further look into Open Air, definitely contact Alejandro and we definitely can do a deeper dive session. I'll turn it back over to you, Alejandro.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Brett. I want to thank also our clients for attending today's webinar. Look forward to further invitations for additional webinars. And again, like Pam mentioned, if you have any questions, please contact me directly via email or give me a call. Thank you again for your time. Thank you, Pam and Brett, for the good webinar, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Have a great